YouTube. This is Henry Lee. Today we're going to study houses, how to paint houses with trees. I'll be working on the table, so you can, if you like, you can sit closer to me, or if you want to paint along, you can do that also, whichever you think. Okay, the painting you see here is the last project I did, the framed piece I showed you last week. It's a story, a poetic painting. And this house is right here. That's what I borrowed from the master Qi Baishi. Master Qi Baishi is the most popular Chinese brush painter, and I would call him the grandpa Baishi, like a grandma. Do you know Grandma Moses? Moses,
Yeah.
Grandma Moses. She lived about the same time as Qi Baishi, but she lived, I think it's from 1860 to 1961, and Qi Baishi died 1957, I guess, and he was born 80s, in the 1880s maybe. So he lived 96, 97, according to his inscription, but he exaggerated that a little bit according to Chinese culture, you know. So he probably, the actual lifelong is at least 95, but he painted all the way to his last minute. Both of them, Grandma Moses and Qi Baishi, start their career late.
Yeah.
I mean their career because they become professional artists and master in their in the field in painting, and recognized as the master before they die, right? So they're very successful. So Qi Baishi, in the case of Qi Baishi, he moved to Beijing from his hometown in the countryside in Hunan province. And Grandma Moses was a maid until like he should start painting in age 78, I think. As her first painting was sold at 79, something like that, and painted thousands of them during her long life till 101, right? And become national icon. And Qi Baishi is also a national icon. Both of them in nostalgia kind of painting.
Yeah.
They paint from memory of the hometown, peasant life. You know, like Qi Baishi like to do peasant tilling their land with water buffalo, and Grandma Moses would do a tractor with
Yeah.
ox or something like that. Very similar, I think. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So both of them like to paint houses, and their houses are different because Grandma mostly use oil media, and Qi Baishi use brush and ink. And they both have a naive sense. How to say that? It's a good if that's a positive word. It's like childish.
Childlike. Yeah.
Childlike, or some call it primitive art. Both are, you know, spontaneous, but I think both of them have copied masters, but they have their own interpretation or personal style, you know. So they have a child mind, but the technique is pretty advanced. Like Grandma Moses has a very good sense of value and colors, especially. Yeah. So I'm going to show just in my my simplest kit here. When I go outside to paint, I carry this convenient ink cake. Now we also have this convenient ink bottle. Like it's very light. It's only 25 milliliters, and you can control one drop at a time. Just like very small amount of ink without using a lot of ink. So this is and you can, it's sealed and it's not going to spill. So if you carry this outside, it's very convenient, very light. And I use this case. I have all the tools I need. Large brush, small brush. I'll use these brushes, the brush pens. I got 3 of them here. I got pencil, but that's for watercolor. So this brush is good. And for the wash, I can use this ones. I have all three versions of this large brush. So we don't need the. I think we will start from the outlines. So let's do this. Oops. Let's see. You can see this. All right. This is okay now. Okay. To paint something like an architecture, a house. There's not much room for like creativity, like spontaneous. You have to follow the fundamental, the rules. But you don't have to use ruler. The line is almost like road, very straight, but you can see a little bit curve, but you need to keep the verticals straight and the parallels almost leveled. In Chinese perspective, I think Qi actually has a typical interpretation of perspective when he talks about the perspective of a vase, for example. Like he would do the vase on like a cup, for example. So when he draw a cup or a vase, the bottom is flat. It's not going to be like that because he thinks it's more stable. It's just like this house. Yeah. Then the mouth is round, it's hollow, so you can put fruits in it. He will do a bowl of cherries. It's like a Cezanne perspective. The mouth is like this, and then the bottom is flat. Right? So it's all kind of folk tradition. It's a folk tradition in any culture, maybe, to think that way. Yeah. Okay. So when I did this, I think I did put the reference directly behind the paper, so you can just do. This will be too big. This is the copy without shrink. And we can use this version, and we can fill in the blanks, so you don't have to cut the paper. This is a long horizontal scroll, I think. So the paper has a smooth side and the smooth side and the coarse side. The smooth side is the correct side to work on, and I use this to adjust the moisture, and I just load the brush with pure ink. Maybe half of the brush. I don't need light on this entire house when I do outline, but not necessarily the same kind of. So this should be a little darker than that, maybe. So I would go with this one first. So when I draw this, you can see his line is almost like calligraphy. it has the nail head, a bone head, okay, the bone head, I think. So you hide the tip like that. He does very slowly. So at any point, if he lifted the brush, the line would stay, it's, it's finished. It's not like a draft, like very, very sure marks like that, yeah, sure marks. I think it's getting lighter, so I want to make sure it's dark. I just use the ink cake as a palette. I add some texture to it. Okay, this one you can see very bony. It has like a nail head almost. Okay, this one also. So they're not like the wire lines. It's not that even. Although some of these lines, that this grid window may have that kind of feel. Okay, when the brush is dry, you have to go slower. So he will paint very slowly. I think I talked about a story that one of his master student, he's already established himself as an artist, Li Keran. He watched Qi Baishi painting for like 30 years, of, the last 30 years of Qi Baishi's life. And the most important thing he learned is the speed the master paints, very slowly. Yeah, so it's almost like the what do you call the water stains on leaking wall? That kind of yeah. So it's like that. Yeah. Okay. And then the bottom. And sometimes he does just like a stepstone. I add that because I see on some of his paintings. This is the door entry. So it's very simple, like a simplified symbols of the house and the elements of the house. And this is a window that shows the studio. It has the table and this a stack of this hand-bound old book. It's a box of book. It's like a bookcase, I think. Just like a rectangular box, I think. And then the table is black, I think. Yeah. So this negative painting. So when you have like a overlapping relationship, you can make one solid like a wash like this, one outlined. Just separate the two with this. It helps a lot of. So this is the desk. The desk and the book. Right? Now I'm going to do the door. Sometimes I see curtain, I don't see here. This, sometimes, this is the other side of the floor.
Like the wall.
The wall,
Yeah.
the end, the wall. Okay. In some perspective, you will see a corner, like the far corner of the bottom.
Right.
But not in this case. I could do that, I think, but I don't think if it should be somewhere inside of this door. So that when I study something, I would look at all the houses in his paintings in the book to see all the variations. this is like the pillow or something, pose, right? Uh, and then the graded windows. This actually not accurate as an architecture illustration, but just symbolic. When I see this, it's like the house has a expression. These are the eyes or the mouth, some like the features of the. It has this kind of. I think this is too dry. So he would not use dry brush. Even the brush is dry, he would do it slowly. So it's not just draft. It's very sure marks. I just repeat a little bit. It could have a little bit loss and font, I think. And this, I'm not sure if it's the door or the, I think it's maybe a window above the door. I think so. Not something inside. So I paint along this parallel line, along the root, the eave maybe, and this one is another. It should point into this. That's the continuity principle of continuity. It should be continued. Pointing, but I don't think he's definitely aware, but not scientific, But basically, that's what it is. Okay, now we do the tires. The tiles looks complicated, but not really. If you just do one, when he do like a stone carving, like he would just turn the stone two times. He would do all the horizontals or verticals in the direction, and then shift 90 degrees, do all that's it. So when he do this, I imagine the same thing. So he would do all the verticals and then the little, what do you call this, little tire. And so then just load more. And this inner contour should be a little bit freer or less heavier maybe. Then the outside, this eave line could be a little heavier. Okay, and then this, I do see a little bit curve like that, and he sometimes he can indicate a little bit like the ridge. He can, or just like idea completes with absence of stroke. That little omit makes it look like a rounded, I think. In some region, like north, I think, when where they have less rain, the tile goes like up, but usually it goes down. The curve. Mm-hmm. Some like that. Maybe he's northern. He lives in the north, so he just do it like straight, I think. So if you're not sure, just make it straight, just like that. Just straight. So you don't have to really worry about the curve. Maybe just these two rows, columns, I think.
Henry, will you tell us a little bit about the brushes that you're using?
Oh, I'm using this Piston Piston brush. Usually I put water inside when I go outside, so I don't have to carry a
Right.
bottle. And I can show you maybe like that. So if I
Oh, I see.
suck in the water like that, then I have a consistent supply of ink, so I don't have to reload. The disadvantage of this is if you put ink there, the tone is no longer fully controllable because it will flow out. But if you want a consistent supply, you can do that. I think that's probably a good idea to use it, and then you can exhaust it. I mean, you can squeeze it out if you need lighter. I will use different brush for different tones. So you can load a gray tone for one brush and a darker tone for the other, something like that.
I have one that's a plastic one, and I find when I hold it like that,
Oh.
I squeeze too much water out.
Yeah,
So
you
I
don't.
never use it.
Yeah, you squeeze a little bit, just like that.
But you have, yeah,
You can squeeze. Let me see. I got it wrong. Yeah, so you can. It does come out.
yeah.
I don't really need to squeeze. Sometimes I do.
Right.
If I do, I use one hand. I can do this. Squeeze.
Yeah.
Just use this two fingers like that. I can do it in one hand. I can do that. See, I squeeze out
Right.
if I need. Yeah.
In mine, I because it's soft here, I squeeze out too much water, so I don't use it
Oh,
anymore.
this is more convenient. I
Yeah.
mean, it's more controllable. So
Right.
this is I have the light just like that. So I can use this brush outside, very convenient.
Do you carry those?
Yeah, I do. It's there are two kinds. One is it's all synthetic. Because if it yeah, one is the small one.
Yeah.
One is this. I can use this one for this kind of outline and then wash it with this. So I just keep it light here, and I use this one instead. I think I didn't clean it. You can use airbrush cleaner. I think someone recommend that, but you don't have to. You just use water to. Don't let it dry this first. I mean, after using, I should have cleaned it. I don't have to. But I don't have any ink stuck there. That's
Right.
good. So I just use this way. Okay. So this second building could be a little lighter, I think, or drier somehow to show the all the lines could be a little thinner too. So this line could be the thickest part. I can enhance that. Okay, and then the second building. This could be a little lighter. And yeah, this brush actually it's easier. I do see a little bit kind of curve up. That's just a very subtle feature. It makes the building like the temple, the pagoda always have this kind of eave. And this is the corner line. It's more solid. This is the contour. Okay. Now the bottom is flat. Yeah, you see his line is very short, so he has a stop there at the beginning, a pause there. That's very different than drawing. This is writing. He used the technique of writing to do this. In the writing, we have this kind of turning back, stop like that, and all these bars. You see, he used bony strokes. So it's very. Basically, you do it very slowly. Let the ink penetrate through the paper. So it's very certain. Okay, then the door. This is the door. Okay, I'll use lighter ink maybe. Oh, here's another pillow. Just let me see. I'll do the bars first, maybe. Okay, the symmetrical. Don't have to foreshorten anything. Okay, and then the tire. Well, he got some blurry things because if you do the wash, he probably did very fast. Not very fast, but without hesitation, you can do pretty fast like this, just right out. And then do this horizontals. You can do two at maybe, I think we will do one by one though. Sometimes I just tend to combine two rows maybe. So it's getting too dry, so I think we should have little blurry here on this side, so you can you do have second chance to make it up, if it's not done correctly, but it still looks like you have done without repeating. So this is a little bit finer maybe than the front one. I think his line is so carefree, so he doesn't really care about the actual, up or down. He just do it with a rhythm. It has like a gradation from heavier to light, I think, on this side. So this side is a little heavier, right? A little heavier. So I just do a little bit shading to cheat. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes lighter, so that's gradation. Okay, then I just use this one to wash it like that. Speed and the pressure can both create gradation. So you go like, but you have to control not going too far. I think you can use that. And I just use a little lighter ink to wash the shading inside the window here, and inside. I do see some shadow here. So this is the wall. The ground could be. Oh, that's good. I'll just shade all that. You can also do the windows. I don't see any color on the black white, but I think it's okay to shade a little bit. And here, okay, just shading that. You can use color to highlight I think I used the brown to highlight the lines later. And then now I'm working on this tree. If you recall, we do the trunk first. If there's a split, I think. So we don't have to copy exactly because our paper is larger, but I think this tree should be fine to have here. And then that tree can be larger. Okay, let's see. I can move. On my composition, I have the river. It's probably a little farther, so we can just put the tree on the corner. Yeah, I think he had this first ground. See, this is the first vantage point or horizon, not horizon. Yeah, then the second one is right here, the third one. So we can do that. So we make sure that stone is correct. So you start from the lower left corner, right? Always, and then you can divide that stone. Use the dark. And now I have the kind of outlined block here. Then I can do a more in, right? The opposite is this to kind of contrast with this. It's almost like a fupi. Okay, so he kind of he wash it before it gets completely dry, but not right now. If it's too wet, it will bleed too much. So you don't want to really copy exactly. If he has the smear, you want to create smear, it's not possible, because it's just accidental. I guess something just, but your accident could be nicer if you learn, the process, the idea, not the traces, like those accidental stains you cannot really duplicate. Oops. Maybe this must be slim. I'll have to ask it later. May I call you later? I'm in the class right now. Okay. So he used pretty dry brush, I think. I start from the root because I want to make it sure this relationship is you can paint the holes of the roots if you want. Just a little bit hint. Okay, now the dry brush for this tree. He probably hold the brush like that and have frequent stops for the knobs and bars of that. Twisting. This, I think his line is going inside also. Like here, he will go inside, out, and even crossing. So he's that's why he's a master. He does this like a setup branch to create the texture of everything in one continuous line. So the line is not like outline only. Just here you have that like a very interesting, intricate. What do you call this? Let me do it. Just show you what I see. So this. Let me just use smaller brushes to subtle here. So that's a branch I see. Okay, this is, and this branch, this is like a U-turn, whatever you call it. Okay. Yeah, now, you have to use this smaller brush and dry brush to give you more time to do this. And do you remember how we do this split? At this point, if you want to do single branch, he doesn't really. He simplified it. He didn't use the. Usually we'll do this kind of single stroke twigs, right? But he just used needles, and the twigs is in his mind. So yeah, I think. And when you do this, you start from the center, then left and then right. Okay, so you asked last time, you have to stuff like that. So you press down to the center like that to get the center heavier. Let's try this one. So this brush, the smaller brush, could be used for both the twigs and the needles. And this is the complete shape. It's like a fan frame, folding fan frame, and he doesn't really overlap half of it like I would, because this will give you more color. If you do it too dense, the blue color will not show. What time is it? We have 1 hour. Okay. Okay. I tried to just do in one shot, so the color, the ink is dark. Yeah, you don't want to do it in 2 layers. His idea is like folk tradition. I think it's very decorative style. You see this, almost like extension of the. So he extend that branch like that. So this line continues, that didn't break. He omit the twigs. And here we have another C-shaped branch. I kind of exaggerate that turning to the left first, and then going there. And it's a dry brush. So you can have a stop like we showed earlier in first class, like that. And so his structure is very clear. I think that I moved it. Let me just move it back. Oh, I think I made this larger. So this too doesn't really touch. So I can move my template just to. It's okay to move the template underneath it. Okay, so I want to make sure this branch is separate. If you need, you can combine them, but I will follow his design. So each arm has a gesture. Okay, this one, you better start from center, I think, and then maybe seven strokes. Yeah. Okay, now I think his mind is really on the whole shape. This is a triangular shape. So really, you do not need to count how many groups. You just do like, but this shape is a triangular shape for me. I think that's, so this part maybe 3, maybe 2, but it's more important to have this shape rather than how many groups of leaves there, right? And the trunk, the bark, you just go like that. If it's too dry, you lose that kind of fluency. If it's too wet, you lose the texture. Okay, let me see this one. So I have to move it back this way. still. When I start moving, you have to look at your own pictures for balance. To, okay. That's that. Maybe do the branch first. So this one is not so squarish, but like that. But you don't want to really lose the square, the angular. I mean, the angular quality of the pine branch. So it should be in between square and the round. So it's maybe easier to go from outside in. Sometimes I do also. I think all his, but sometimes I just for the convenience, But most of them are outside in. Okay. Now the second. Okay, I can have this one a little bit more complete. I'll extend it to the left side for my paper size. Okay. Don't pen too fast, Henry. Okay. Just keep the each shape kind of flat. The pine tree is kind of flat crown. Each block. Okay, we can make this into a mulberry tree. We have mulberry tree here, so I got inspiration to do this for the fun of it. But it will be a challenge. I don't know how to do the mulberry tree. Never seen them. But my tree is hanging like that from the top, so we can try. The trunk is a little bit different. It's not so knotted or. I'm going to see if we can just do a regular tree and then split. Okay, I can take some example here for that from my early work. So there's a branch that overlaps with the eave. That's interesting. So I'm going to copy this one. So this one hanging down, and yeah, my mulberry tree does have this kind of, like the pine. So we don't need this. I think this is a maple tree. So I just basically copy this. I want to make a the tree too symmetrical, so I think it should be more on this side. Anyway, it's like a heavy loaded with fruits. It reminded me of the crab, crab leg, kind of. Yeah, maybe longer than crab leg. That's almost like my tree there, like that. Exaggerate a little bit. We can have a little more. Okay, now we just do it with a large brush. The leaf is one. It's like we call it confused dots. So like that. Maybe you can have pointed like heart shape. Some of them maybe. Yeah, that's maybe some identifiable, but basically they're just along the branch, but not like willow. It's more rounded. Actually, this is a back tree, so not as important as this one. We don't really have to identify that much, as long as we create, have a whole tree right. It helps to create the environment for the house. We have two words in in Chinese referring to the rural life. When people meet, they chat. Mulberry and hemp. Hemp is like you make clothing. Mulberry is making clothing. Like silk. So it's like you talking about the crops or harvest or something. So that's people's the daily life. And in one of the famous poets, it described the village life. Like the roosters standing on top of mulberry. I never seen that until one day I saw that in Hawaii. The roosters standing on top of trees everywhere. So it's a very exciting find. So I always find this kind of moment when I drive to North California. I see a lot of mountain formations. I see in the paintings, rock formations. I just to enhance my previous knowledge. I think I can see through the ancient's eyes. Okay. Now we're going to color it. You can use brown to start with, the brown color. Okay. Let me just see if it's still in the picture. Okay, good. Okay. The brown for the I forgot if the stone is colored, but anyway, it's too dark. This Japanese color is really strong, very opaque also. So you need to dilute it. He used very subtle, pale brown. I think you can also use brown for some of the lines, I think. not necessarily, but that's okay. And then I think this one, we can use a little bit gray here, cooler. So that's too blue. Okay, you just leave it white. It'll be fine. You can paint some other plants if you need it. But he's so simple like here. I was thinking like a bamboo, if we need to do a fence, something like that. We can always add that if we need. So let's see. I do the mountain. The mountain is a gray blue kind of. Let me just add some more opaque blue here. This is Japanese color. I don't really see this in Chinese painting, but it's nice to have. Shibaishu would use. His painting is very popular in Japan first. Okay. You can even make it a little purplish, I think. Just add a little bit. Let me just try it. Okay. Now I softened the tip of my brush, so it will not create a sharp edge. It will be more blurry like that. So this is how I do it. And I may need to do a few more hues. Okay, so let's do a small hue here. And then the big one, it's too dry. You can roll the brush, so it's just to exhaust the brush. And just add water to the brush tip to lighten it. This is too similar color, but I will put some fruits on the trees later. Okay, my main objective is to make the house white. So I have to do a lot of gray color, maybe. This distant ground, this would be more brownish. So this one could have a little bit yellow, brown, but very light. So this much. It's a little bit too warm, so you can add a little ink or blue. Yeah, that's about it. So just wash I forgot to do the leaves. If you want to have a more saturated color, you have to do it on dry, wet on dry. So you must do it first. You can you can estimate the bleed. You can just add some darks before you do the background wash. If you don't have time to wait it dry, I just do it that way so I can just kind of let it bleed. And so this would gradually disappear. That's the second second plan, right? Okay, second plan. And this one actually can go up. You can have a little bit plants or even fences added, but let me just make it simple. Just like mountain foot, where the mountain foot is, we can just do some gray, I think. You can have some vegetation, distant trees maybe. I have this kind of trees here, but you need to add darks after it dries. But now let me just fill in that blank. So leave some clouds. Mist will help to create distance. Just break that flat line so you make it more natural. All right. And then here we have the rock should be dark blue, I think. We call it color according to kinds. So you don't want to have like a blue on this one, or it will be confusing if you have colors are everywhere. All works. All right. Now the brown for the foreground. It could be a little warmer. That's why I got some reds there, maybe. Oh, I got the palette here. That's my cheapest palette. It works. Okay, let me just get a whole lot. You can get your own brown with, just orange and the blue. Maybe a little bit pink or gray. And you can try testing the. It should be a little warmer. Oh, that's cool. Okay. I think that's what he did, but he may have some bleed too. Oh, Ellen's here. Glad you come. Okay. I just leave that there. So this is a. I just leave it more distinctive than the original. If it's nice, then you can just leave it. And if it's not bleed enough, you can make this. You can control the bleed if you want to, the blue goes up. You can put some water under it, so it will go up. Just sit like that. Yeah. If you want to stop, you put water up above it, and that would stop it from bleeding further. If you want to stop the color going inside the wall, you have to use clean water from above. So this area will be protected. Yeah. I forgot to use some blue on the tile, but we can do that later. And I need to do some fruits. Oh, here, the mulberry.
Oh.
我树
they are
家里
beautiful,
树上，
they are
你可以拿回去尝一个。
big.
Yeah, they are Taiwanese. Taiwanese, actually Pakistan or Taiwanese, I'm not sure.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Yeah. We also have the jam if you want to
Oh,
test that. 那个微微做的
okay.
homemade.
Is this from your tree?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that's the jam made from the.
Beautiful.
So they're very red, then turn dark. So we'll just do the red maybe, but I don't want to make it look like cherry. How do we do that? So what color it would be? Just purple, huh?
Would the shape of the cluster be different from cherries?
Yeah, it's more like how do I do? More like
Yeah.
something like just along the I never seen people doing that. You know what? Maybe we can just use the juice from one of the. So we can just. I'm not sure if we can get that from here.
You want one of these cups?
Yeah, I have the cup here.
Okay.
So we just kind of smash it. So that's the true color of this. Oh, this is too red. Oh, but at least we can see what color is this. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah.
it's like pomegranate.
Yeah, but actually the color you see is more dark, so we can just add some of that. Let me see. That comes out nice. Yeah, you have to wait it dry to dot the lower part. I can do the top. No problem. Actually, maybe yeah, it could be just the red clouds, like a. But I don't want to make it like a blossom, so that's a little bit challenged. And you can have a little bit blue. Maybe the variation of color would suggest different. I think although they're quite big, but on the tree it look like a lot of this. Okay. Try to echo a little bit color on the top. I didn't bring my dryer, but my hand is drier. is my iron. Yeah, you can use your hand. It's really effective. You can make it to dry much faster. So, oh, sorry, thank you. Let me just put a little bit here. Just a little bit color. A hint of that. Oh, this inside could be a little bit. See this water filter going the other way. It doesn't really bother me, but if you want, you can reverse it. Just use water to stop water. Yeah, that's the way doing. The sky usually just leave it white, but if you really want to emphasize on the, you can use white behind this one also. Yeah. Let me see where I have white here, I guess. Yeah. Let's do that. So you can experiment with if we want to make the book stand out, then you can just do the book. Well, I think it should be just like that. And then the blue case, I think. Oops. But this is on the back, so even it covers a little bit, it won't really bother.
Henry, when you put a clear water here, right?
Yeah, clear.
And it looks like it's really concentrated a nice edge there.
Yeah, I like
it
that.
yeah.
It's like it could create some kind of nice edge.
Mm-hmm.
Not so like a water stand. It's more that organic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not really controllable sometimes, because the timing, if it's dry to the like 80%, then it's good. If it's too wet, it will
Yeah.
it will go back. So it's good that stays. Yeah. So yeah, you can see it's a very intuitive way to know the water how the water works. Mm-hmm. And then the more experience you have, the more freedom you will have. Let me just put some green maybe to contrast with the trees. Let me see if that's too tender. Let's see if maybe the dry. I'll just put some dots. Maybe it's not going to blur. So it's the mulberry tree. Mulberry tree. Have you ever 养过那个什么叫 raise silkworm? This is a silkworm tree. This is the season I used to brew. How do you say it? Incubate or in its body temperature. The seeds, very fun. So this is on the back side of the paper. think that's pretty
Yeah.
good impression. And after it dries, I put some more fruits on the bottom, so it will complete that.
Henry, in this region, would you ever have green moss growing on the tile roof?
Green moss.
On the tile, green on the tile roof?
It could be, yeah, some kind of like like a succulent kind of
Oh,
stuff. Yeah, 那个瓦花是什么？瓦花。Yeah. Mouse also, right? When I see succulent here, I thought it's something like on the roof first, because they don't need soil; they just grow on the tile. Oh, I was born in one kind of like house like this, with tiles like the very the tiles it's like this way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very very dense, vertically rolled. This is just like this, and then we have the window with grids like that. Yeah. Okay, so let me just do some more fruits. Fruits. Let me just put some fruits there. It will be 3D stamping. We can paint with the fruits, maybe. Put some colors on the fruits. Sorry, Victoria. That's too wet. But anyway, it become like when you see them together in the distance, it's all one cluster. We do have some individuals. After it dries, I'll add some other detail. You can leave the sky open, or you can write descriptions there. I think this is the place the original description is. Okay. On this painting, I did for the Society of Guqing. I made this like a little bank.
Right.
So it has water. It could still have like a pond kind of. So you can put ducks or other domestic animal kind of around the house. It will be, and if necessary, you can do some fans or the little kind of like that indicate bushes or bamboo or whatever. Just horizontal dots and vertical lines around the house. And you can have a little tree there. And some green to echo that. Okay, and you can have some green, just color this. Yeah, it does require time to wait, to dry. If you don't have a dryer or you don't want to use dryer, you have to wait. I just put the little dots, so let it bleed a little bit. It's fine. Let me see if I can find a good title for this. It doesn't come with title. It just says White House with a pine, something like that. Not White House. White Bay, or I think if you put more white there, it will be too much. So I just put a little bit in the on the table, inside the window. So that is enough. It's the best to save the white. I think on this painting, maybe it's the print. It has the color. Maybe it could be a color of the paper. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can wash the sky with very, very, very soft, it's almost like this maybe. Yeah. And then this color, will stand out. That's it. I don't want to touch inside because it will bleed the fruits.
This has bled really nicely, hasn't it? Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that.
This dry brush, no.
Just how soft it's
Oh,
become.
it become, yeah. I wish it will become even softer because you can have a little bit. And we have lots of fruits on the ground. It's this painting, this story. We talked about Grandma Moss, American lady. She lived for 101 years old in last century, from actually 1860 to 1961. He started painting at the age of 89, 88 or 80. Not 89. His first exhibition was 88. He started picking up the brush at the age of 78. She was doing embroidery, sewing embroidery. Qi Baishu was a carpenter, so he was both of them are craftsmen, right? So they both represent the highest level of folk art in their own traditions. Yeah.
Would they have seen each other's work?
Good question. I think the first book was published in mainland China in 2012, maybe 14.
Yeah.
And then there are a couple books published in the last decade. So that's I never heard of.
Yeah.
I heard of her name the day before yesterday in my master study class from with Rob Sherrill. I never heard of her.
It was my mother's favorite artist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you?
No.
Grandma Moses?
No,
But she was also an East Coast painter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She did so good. I spent whole night. The more I research on Grandma Moses, the more I like Qi Baishu compared with Qi Baishu, because both of them are folk artists from the crafts background, but both of them have recognition from the mainstream artist.
Right, yeah.
and become successful, in their lifetime and enjoyed great fame as a representative of the country,
Yeah.
like a peace. Qi Shi was a peace ambassador to some world peace work, kind of conference or something like that. He would do talks and some, and they represent their love for the past lifestyle in the time of post-war industrialization.
Right.
That kind of, so he lives in the capital of Beijing, Qi, but he paints his country home, his nostalgia, his homesick kind of, yeah. That's yeah. He in one speech, like award acceptance speech, he said he tried to express the love for his motherland and the people to the people, something like. So he is aware of it being the spokesperson for the common people, not just literati. It used to be, but he did study literary painting. He become a poet himself, but his poet is very naive, kind of childish. Also, I have a book next time. Maybe I bring the book. I can cite you some interesting. He'll say, just like a few strokes for the trees, and looks pretty good from distance, or something like, and some 鹭鸶, like a fishing birds. What is called commodore?
Cormorant.
Cormorants.
Yeah. The ones that the
Yeah,
fish.
fish
They,
nest. Cormorants.
right. Yeah.
Cormorants swimming in the river. No one recognized them. Something like that. Because in the city they don't see
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So that's his poem. He will write.
I want to see that because I wrote a poem about fishing cormorants.
Fishing cormorants. Okay. We can try to paint his fishing cormorants next time. Yeah. He just do it with almost like character, just like he would do something like a head with a fish, and then the tail like diving, and some like a duck, something like that. Yeah.
Like calligraphy.
Yeah, calligraphy.
Like flying birds are like that
Yeah,
too.
there are lots of closure.
Yeah.
Closure, not complete details.
So he uses this style.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I can show you some. Maybe next time we'll do the river with comrades. Yeah. With comrades. Right. So we don't really do the shadows, but this really serves like a cast shadow.
It does.
If you look at from distance, it looks like that. It's dark. Yeah, it's pretty dark. So let's make it darker, maybe.
I like your rock better.
Oh, thank you. I don't want to ruin it today. Just to add a little depth.
Yes.
To that. But don't overdo that, because if you sketch too much, it will destroy the calligraphy.
Right.
So don't get scared. When that happens, you can always control the direction of movement. Just use clean water to drive back and forth until it dries. then you cannot move any. Yeah, if it's wet, you can move it on. You have to get used to the bleed. Yeah, the bleeding effect. Okay, so you have 20 minutes. Do you want to try something?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to stop recording.
Could I try your water brush?
Yeah.